like I said, one thing after another today, including my camera stopping for no reason. But you kind of have to break the mindset of working by the hour. That is really an employee mindset. And once you start being a reseller, whether it's full-time or part-time, you're your own boss, whether it's, your own boss full-time or your own boss part-time. And so as your own boss, you can't think of things with that employee mindset. You have to change how you think about stuff. And to give you an example, here's another example of what we have. Fat stacks or reseller cash. Actually, it's $200. Maybe $220, I don't remember. Anyway, but it's all in small bills. For the reason that when I go offer up or yard sales or anything like that, you're much better off smaller bills. Chew somebody down on price a little bit, down to $5, and then, oh, do you have change for a 20? Makes for tough negotiations. So small bills. The reason I say that, when I stopped earlier, I was going into the bank. I had an issue with one of my cards. Because I honestly, when I decided I was going to start doing reselling full time again, or try it full time, eventually, I, been out getting inventory. I've been listing, and stuff has been selling. My first goal, which I thought I would be at by now, and I'm running behind because I got lazy, honestly, is I wanted 500 items in my store. I'm paying for a store that I can have 500 items, and I've got just under 200 in it. I get close to 200, and then I sell off a bunch of stuff, and I'm back down just below 200. So I want to get up to that 500 mark, and then I'm going to be trying to get to 1,000. And the more items you have, the bigger that income coming in is. But there for the first couple weeks, I was pushing hard. I mean, I was going out working, 7-8 hours a day at a physical job, and then coming home and listing. My days off, I'd spend, 4 hours straight taking pictures. Not a good idea. Your back will hurt. It's weird positions. That's something I got to change out how I do that. But because of my lighting situation, I take a bunch of pictures. So at once, and then list them later in the evenings. And that goes back to what I mentioned, time. This job, this career gives you much more flexibility. I can spend a bunch of time when I have it, when my regular work is slow, get the pictures done, get stuff ready, then get it listed. And then, I know that I need to spend X amount of time a day shipping if need be, but that's it. I have control over my time. I choose when I get to do it, which once you realize that value of your time, then, if you're making $20, $30, $50, $100 an hour working for yourself, it's really worth double that versus working for someone else, because you get to choose when you're going to use that time. So you can make that schedule match what you want to do, what you want to do with your family. There's times when places are busy and expensive to go, and if you go, a lot of attractions, they cost more on the weekends, they're busier on the weekends. As soon as you're self-employed, go in the middle of the week. Just forget it. I mean, it's taken me being self-employed 2 years to, when we go on vacation, I always used to think I have to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Well, if you're self-employed, work the weekend before. Go in the middle of the week. You don't have a boss to answer to. You know what you have to do for the month. Think of it as a monthly goal. And as long as you've done what you can do for the month, or you have a plan for how you're going to do it for the month, you can use your time accordingly after that. And so that flexibility is worth much more than the money itself would be worth. But you have to get out of that employee mindset and get into, entrepreneur, be your own boss, self-employed mindset. So that's why I see it's kind of tough to break it down into what you make an hour. Where I was going, where I stopped with that card is, I do some affiliate marketing as well. I had a couple really good months, or really good for me. My average has been like $20 a month, $30 a month. I had a couple months last few months back that were 100 and something. And that's nice to see. And you can build that up slowly. The way I do it is really slow because I only recommend products I use or have owned or I have personal experience with. So I don't just recommend anything and just throw out garbage stuff, because I can't stand it when people do that to me, so I don't do it. So I have an account that I've put all that money into. Well, what I just did, and this is why it's tough to calculate, and why I say you can get discouraged up front if you try to break it down by the hour. If I was to take all those hours I spent after my regular job, and the time I spent taking pictures, and the time that I didn't spend doing something on the weekend where I was getting ready so I had stuff to list, things like that. If I took all that time, I just withdrew from my PayPal account $500 yesterday. And that has been for everything I've done for the last month and a half. That's basically the profit. Well, for the amount of time I put into that, I guarantee you I spent way more than 50 hours, and that would have been $10 an hour. It was probably, in all honesty, probably closer to 100 hours. So if I were to look at it like that, I'm making $5 an hour. The flexibility is nice, like I said. Excuse me, Rockstar's not kicking in. But the flexibility is nice, but you know, $5-10 an hour, just that's rough. But when I look at my eBay spreadsheet and I see, okay, you know, I've got $580 of cost in here, and I have almost $5,000 in profit if I sold everything. So even if I was to take a best offer of half on everything, which I usually don't take offers of half, but even if I was to do that, I'm looking at $2,000. That's, you know, that's a good investment. So when you think of it in that entrepreneur mindset, it's not by the hour, it's you're investing in your inventory and you're investing your time into getting that inventory listed. So it's a much different concept, and so you got to look at that big picture. If you're interested, message me and I can send you a link to that Google Doc I use. It's just, you can use one, that's fairly simple one, just on, you know, tracking your inventory, keeping track of where you are, because you do want to know where you're at money wise and time wise, but get out of that mindset of I have to know how much I'm making per hour, because that's an employee mindset, and you're gonna frustrate yourself eventually doing it that way. So this one went way longer than I planned. I mentioned 10 minutes at the beginning and it's probably 20. So anyway, till next time, keep listing, keep sourcing, you know, keep track of that, but think of that as the employee mindset. Don't think of it, don't be an employee anymore. Take control of your time and use that asset to your advantage. Hit that thumbs up if this helps, subscribe if you want to see more of it, and we will talk to y'all soon.